I'm also getting a response. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Bhadra Kumar, for a response to that, and to Marshal Ahluwalia, but Brigadier Mahalingam wanted to come in straight into the debate tonight. We are seeing different interpretations. I interpret this, Brigadier Mahalingam, what has come out in the Chinese media, which is the mouthpiece of the Chinese government, as China getting worried about being contained in the region because of India's growing missile clout. And it refers to that. It says, India should not overstate the value of its Western allies and the profits it could gain from participating in a containment of China. China is worried about being contained. It shows its hegemonistic attitude. Brigadier Mahalingam.
Arnab, as far as China is concerned, it is as well aware as I am, or for that matter anybody, what is the implication of this missile which has been launched today. And it is quite clear. And with the MICR capability, it can hit right up to Beijing, as very rightly brought out by General J.D. Bakshi. Like any other army, Indian army might have had some shortcomings, but this missile launch has bridged a very major gap. Just imagine the Indian army going to war with any of the neighbors with this backup. It is a tremendous achievement, and China, I am sure they realize it. It is because of that they are not opening their mouth, and they are trying to play it down, and perhaps they are assessing the implications for themselves.
I am sure they are. I want to go back to Marshal Ahluwalia before I get a quick response from Mr. General Bhadra Kumar to this. Further, it says, this Chinese mouthpiece, which I am getting a different interpretation from Mr. Bhadra Kumar, and he has his right to have it. It also goes on to say that if India equates long-range strategic missiles with the deterrence of China and stirs up further hostility, it could be sorely mistaken. So by that consequence, Marshal Ahluwalia, when in a secret manner, not in the open manner that India has, China tested the Dongfeng 31, then it was probably, admitting that it's a hostile act towards India. How do you see that preaching from Beijing today?
Arnab, I've got my views on this subject, and I might qualify it right in the beginning that the achievement today of the Agni 5 launch and what it achieved is tremendous. It's a great leap forward in the capability and towards national security, undoubtedly. Having said that, I think we have to be a little cautious in how we are trying to portray a cause. For instance, a missile of this nature, long range, is definitely considered an offensive weapon. Notwithstanding that, we consider it defensive because we are going to use it in the form of a deterrence, and only after something has come against us as per our nuclear doctrine. The question is whether we go for a mouthpiece organ in terms of a magazine or in terms of what the Foreign Ministry of China has said. And they've been saying this all along. In fact, Dr. Saraswat, who you had on your program before, and myself, under the then Defense Minister, Mr. Arnab Mukherjee, visited China, and we had the opportunity to meet the highest levels in the Chinese hierarchy. And each time they said the same thing, that India and China can be strategic partners. We have the same goals. We want to achieve the same thing, that is the welfare of our people, and we should not let anybody else interfere with it. So it's not a new thing.
No,
but what I think they have said very maturely today is that they want peace, they want harmony, they want to coexist with India. I think perhaps we need to consider that we should take a positive view and consider that yes, perhaps there may be something in it that China wants,
but peace
and China is not aggressive
between
all
equals.
the time, every time.
But peace is between equals, and this article says, which I am convinced is the point of view of the Chinese government, it says it would be unwise for China and India to seek a balance of power by developing missiles. So they are worried about a strategic balance being struck in the region. They want the asymmetry because it works for them. Getting reactions now from General Bakshi to what you said, and also from Brigadier Mahalingam. And I'm sorry, yes, General Bakshi first.
Arnab,
Yes,
I'd like to state that we have a set of, platitudes which are preached to every delegation that goes to China. I myself led the National Defense College delegation to the National Defense University at Beijing. We get a lot of platitudes. Please match the Chinese platitudes with the Chinese actions. In 1988, our Prime Minister, then Prime Minister Mr. Rajiv Gandhi himself took the initiative to defrost relations with China. He took that initiative to go to Beijing. We took those peace overtures very seriously. What did China do in the interim? It used the interim period to hand over nuclear blueprints to Pakistan. Then it gave it enriched uranium.
Absolutely.
Then in the year of the Lord 1990, as per United States impeccable sources, China tested Pakistan's first nuclear weapon at Lopnor on its own soil. It didn't stop there. It gave them M9 and M11 missiles. And when the Americans finally put in technological sanctions against the Norinco company which makes these, China put A.Q. Khan in touch with North Korea so that they could get the Taipodong and Nodong missiles. China paid for those missiles. No other country in the world has given this level of proliferation support to another country, and especially a country which has been so implacably hostile against India. While China has been mouthing peace platitudes, its actions have been to encourage Pakistan to destabilize and to launch an asymmetric warfare against India.
I find this
India's responses.
I would like a comment from General. I would like a comment from Mr. Bhadra Kumar to what is seen. At least I interpret this, Mr. Bhadra Kumar. Let's keep analyzing the article, which you and I have different views on. Now, in this piece, which is the mouthpiece of the Chinese government got this article written in a state of nervousness after a missile launch. It says, the West remains silent on the fact that India's missile spending increased by 17% in 2012, and the country has become the largest weapons importer in the world. Now, statistically, I go back in the last 1 decade. Since 2002, China increased its military spending by 170%, 170. We increased our spending by 66%. That is 30% in percentage terms of what China increased its defense spending by. Isn't that open hypocrisy? Why is China doing that? Is that an act of hostility, Mr. Bhadra Kumar, towards India? Or does China alone have a right to do it?
I think, Mr. Goswami, I don't have readily these facts available with me. And if you're right, you're 100% right. I'm sure I have no reason to doubt the veracity of what you're saying. I think we should just ignore what China says. Simple. If, these are the facts which you mentioned, why quibble over it? They say what they like and we do what we like.
Yeah, so that is Chinese hypocrisy, isn't it? That they talk about our missile delusion. They want the asymmetry in the region. They want to be the big brother.
How does it help calling each other names? If someone is not behaving on the basis of facts and on the basis of ground reality, ignore it.
So you accept.
You do what you have to do.
So you accept.
And I completely agree with what Air Marshal Ahluwalia has said. That this is not something you don't have to climb the rooftop and start shouting and clapping that you've done it. It's a marvelous technological feat. We can be very proud that we've done it on our own. It gives us a deterrent. We'll develop further our capabilities. It increases our option. It augments the space that is available for our diplomacy. And it is certainly commensurate with the kind of aspirations India should have as an emerging power.
I think while I agree with you, and the whole nation agrees with you, and we are all proud about what we have achieved today, the fact that we have got a nuclear strategic equalizer vis-a-vis China is not something China likes. Any commentary you see from Beijing today is a bitter, rattled commentary. And no amount of handshakes, at another level will give up the fact that today China is looking so extremely rattled that the whole game of hegemony in the region is having to reevaluate. Brigadier Mahalingam wanted to come in. Air Marshal Ahluwalia, I'm sure you have your quick responses. Brigadier Mahalingam. Yes.
Arnab.
Yes, sir.
Arnab, basically, the Chinese seem to think that they will have a set of rules and those rules will not apply to India. It's wrong. We are as good a nation or otherwise like China is, and we have a right to do what is in the best interest of our country. And we are not in an arms race as somebody says. We are not in an arms race.
Yeah.
We are doing whatever is necessary
And
to
Marshal,
protect our interests.
Marshal Ahluwalia, would you like to respond to General Bakshi, who suggested earlier that perhaps you were a little gullible with what the Chinese told you? You should have been a little more cynical of what they told you when you visited China.
No. No, I don't think it's as simple as that. These are more complicated issues. But having said that, I think we need to leave that aside. And what I'd like to say is, more than worrying about what China feels and what China does and how we need to take it forward, what we need to do is we need to action what we've done. This is the first step forward. It will require some more effort to be able to operationalize the whole thing. We need warheads. You know, we need operational policy. And that is the triad of, you can say, deterrence. One, the technological capability of missiles, warhead, then the operational policy being in place, and lastly, the political will to be able to do it. Do we understand the complications, the number of missiles, the number of weapons of mass destruction that you might need in terms of causing a deterrence? I think these are such major issues that is what we need to look at. And if we achieve this credible deterrence in an effective manner, then we needn't worry about what A or B or C country thinks about us. We got to think for ourselves, we got to develop it, and we've got to show it in terms of action. And today, I think, is the first step forward, a very welcome step forward, and let's proceed in that direction. Automatically, others' impressions, views will fall into place.
Absolutely. India just needs to move ahead. And if China is sounding rattled, which I think it is, then we should only probably be amused by it. But our panelists are given different points of view. To all my panelists, Mr. Bhadra Kumar, Marshal Ahluwalia, General Bakshi, Brigadier Mahalingam, thank you very much.